Yes, good night, people. Good afternoon. Greetings
Good
wherever you
morning,
are across
wherever
the
you
world.
are.
Right. Welcome to the Reggaecy, where we endeavor to preserve the legacy of reggae and dancehall music by discussing important topics as it relates to the reggae and dancehall culture. You have Oliver with the Reggaecy
As
merch.
usual.
Show
Yeah.
the Reggaecy merch, no? People, you see
Yeah,
that?
man. We're there with some
Right.
merchandise.
All right.
Support the thing if you don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. You have Shane, you know what I mean?
You
And
don't know.
with the two strikes from Aito
Striker.
here and you see me? And then you have yes, me, Randy, I'm gonna show you some Reggaecy merch too. Reggaecy merch. If you're there somewhere in a place where cool,
Aye.
you might need something like this. Or a face mask or something. Reggaecy merch. Reggaecy merch. Reggaecy merch.
Oh,
Hmm?
It bad.
bad man.
Right. So yeah, anyway, we just wear that to show on that and again, Reggaecy merch.
Hey yo.
Yeah, man.
Wicked.
In Reggaecy merch.
TR rum.
Why not the cup?
What's in my cup stays in my cup, bro. Yeah. So people, you're gonna find a link below the video. You know what I mean? If you choose to support, you can find it there. So we appreciate the support because the support help us push things forward. And as you know, if you see what we are doing, what we're trying to do, we're not trying to get something for nothing from you guys. That's why we're offering, maybe products or whatever the case may be to see if we can use that to build up some funding, you know what I mean? So we can improve things as we move. Right? At any rate, on to the next thing for the night. First order of business. As Oliver said earlier, and Shane said earlier, it's the 1st of December 2020. The 27th.
You're done, you know.
The 27th and the 28th of November, right? And there was a big show, virtual show, right? And it's actually the rebirth of Reggae Sunsplash. You see me? Dub Reggae Sunsplash 2020. 2 nights of, some strong and powerful artists. Yes, people, we endeavor to speak about that because I personally feel, I know Shane and Oliver feel as well, even though them can't speak for themselves. So it's a big deal. Reggae Sunsplash is back. And I believe the more shows we have, the more platforms we have, you know what I mean, the better it will be for the reggae and dancehall genre. So with that being said, there's 2 nights. Though particularly the first night was more of artists of all, and then the second night was maybe more younger or new artists.
Artist of new.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put it like that. But yeah, let's get into it.
So what do you think about the timing?
The timing?
The timing of like Sunsplash being revamped or
You mean, when you said the timing, meaning why no? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little confused, to be honest. I'll just put it out there. I'm happy it's back, but I'm confused. I'm trying to figure out what's the deal. Why during COVID? I mean, it's good that it started.
And it was gone for what? How many years?
It's been going and coming back. So, just a little history. Reggae Sunsplash started 1978. Was the first year.
Yeah.
And it was like that every year. It was the premier show in Jamaica, right? I know for me growing up, and I give you a little experience. Like, I had an uncle who lived right at Catherine Hall, where he used to keep a Montego Bay. So I, as a little kid, used to be on summer vacation. And I used to go on top of the roof over there in Catherine Hall. And I used to be able to see the show. And I used to watch the show like that. And for me, that was like one of my first big experiences with like just performing. Like I think one of the artists I saw back then was Gregory Isaac. Big performance. I mean, that was something to see. I mean, the area was locked down. as a kid, I was like in awe, like, what is going on? Like, jam-packed traffic, Peanut Man, Soup Man, everybody out generated a lot of money. People used to bring earbeds. I don't know if you remember that. People used to bring their mattresses there because it was a 7-day festival back in the day, 7 nights.
Yeah,
right?
Very long.
And it was the only big show. There was no Sunfest yet for the younger people. It was just Sunsplash. Actually, Sunfest, I think, got the idea from Sunsplash. So Sunsplash was the real show. And then they ended in 1996. Then they came back again in 1998 and did a final show.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back in 2006 again, did 1 year. And now 14 years later, they're back, but virtual. But I think there was plans before to have it this year again, if I'm not mistaken, despite COVID. Okay. So I'm hoping it's there, Randy. But I'm lifting limbo, like.
So people, shout out to a native historian, Oliver, for doing all the research.
Yo, man, historian thing. Professor.
You see me? I'm coming up with all of that. You see me? People, ladies, Oliver have OnlyFans. You can check him out there too.
No, I don't have no OnlyFans, but
a joke. A joke we have it. You don't know, we don't intend to give me anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, me actually think some Sunsplash became some fest because growing up, I didn't know it as much like that. I just used to remember passing the venue and see the iconic symbol of, I think, Sunsplash.
Sunsplash was a dread, right?
Yeah, like the Bob Marley looking image.
Yeah, kind of like the NBA image.
Yeah, and then the venue became Sunfest.
I actually used to wonder that.
So I thought some splash turned into Sunfest. I didn't know it was actually two different things, and still is. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's two different. I'm surprised. I don't know if there was any lawsuits, but it just seems strange that Sunfest,
because it was the same venue,
right? And I don't know the full understanding, but you know why they? I think the issue why they closed was money.
Yeah.
The show wasn't as producing as much, but then Sunfest was able to carry it off. So I don't know.
Sunfest don't miss a year.
From
my understanding.
Right.
Yeah. So when you mention all of that, we don't. Who knows? But it has to. That to me boils down to mismanagement. So
maybe
the key question is why the in and out, why the here and there, why hasn't it been consistent? Why was it gone for such a long time? Right? But neither of us, none of us can answer that question. I mean, people, if any one of you can answer that question or have any more insight, please share because we're curious to know. At any rate, we kind of want to move along and get into the performances from the first night or overall, because I don't necessarily want it's probably how much artists, maybe somewhere between 8 and 10 artists, somewhere in that region there. Can you name out
the first night was 4 and maybe 4 or 5 the second night.
Yes, about 9 artists.
Something like that. About 8 or 9.
So, all right. So before we go in and even speaking about the artists, we can name out the artists. I'm our artist name, Ras I. First, I hear about the artist. I have never seen him or never heard any material from him. But then you have always remember Tanya Stevens was on that night. You have Richie Spice on that night. And I believe, Capleton closed the show that night. Right? The second night, you had I believe Jesse Royal, Romy and Virgo, Agent Sasko, Massacre, and Dexter Daps. Right, people? Yeah. So leave it to my colleagues. Leave it to my colleagues and I'm gonna interject back and forth, you know what I mean? What did you guys think about the show and who were the standout acts and anything else you notice where you want to bring to light? Let's go. Let's
go. For me, night 2 was my favorite out of the entire lineup. I mean, Capleton always bring the fire, and as far as Tanya Stevens are boss, we all know that, right? What I liked overall for the most part is that, like for Romeo and Virgo, for example, was, he did all song that he has had or have had done before, right? Which means, this is what brings you back to, in a certain way, you kind of relate to the older heads, like, this music won't last the test of time, and that music will, and that kind of thing. You can definitely see evidence of that in, a performance like these. You know what I mean? From like Romeo and Virgo, for example, Capleton, Tanya Steven, Jesse Royal. You know what I mean? But the standout performances for me, most definitely, was Romeo and Virgo, Agent Sasko, Dexter Daps. Those were my like top three.
Oh, okay.
I would say they owned the performance, they delivered. I feel like up to the very end of their performance, it still seemed as if they're just getting started. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the energy I got, and great performances. Great show overall.
Yeah.
I was excited.
So you say you prefer the second night over the first night. Why though? Explain to me why.
I feel like I connected more. Personally, I was more engaged on the second night. I don't know if it's because maybe I can relate more to the age group of a Sasko and a Romeo and Virgo and a Massacre and a Dexter Daps, etc.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I feel like I delve more into their what's the word? Catalog.
Okay. Yeah, people.
You know
I mean, you hear the words and the descriptions where she and I use. I couldn't know if you feel the same way. Oliver gonna say a thing right now, but yeah, just share with
me actually me go to the next round. Me actually rather the first night. Maybe that means I'm an old man or like old vintage artist.
Yeah.
And I'm not no disrespect to the artists them because them but the first night. No, Rasai, I'll be honest, I didn't really check out all of the Rasai performance. So I'm not gonna lie here and comment about that, and people forgive me for that, but that's the truth. I don't know if Randy got
yeah.
Okay, what you thought?
I can comment about Rasai. So I didn't know who he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe he performed maybe 4 songs, right? And if my honest opinion, didn't know him, I like the song him though. I like the performance. It actually, to me, I don't know if something was wrong with the mic on the second night or whatever. But for Rasai that I did not know, I felt like him performed better than some of the acts that we did know.
Okay.
It was brief, but it was a brief enough introduction for getting curious as to who Rasai is, right?
So, yeah.
And then he had his backup singers were really working with him, and overall, to me, like really good performance for somebody that I've never seen or I have no concept or idea who he is, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was, in my opinion, I can't speak for Shane or Oliver or anybody else, but I think it was a really good performance to open the show.
Yeah. So people probably have said, me said that was the best night. I never listened to Rasai, but I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
So after the performance after him, I think was Richie Spice, and I'm not sure the order actually because I watched them individually videos. Yeah. I didn't watch the live show. Richie Spice's performance was incredible. I remember the very first time I saw Richie Spice was at Rebel Salute. And Rebel Salute back in the days when it used to be at St. Elizabeth was almost like a pilgrimage. That thing was powerful spiritually, right? And that's the first time I ever heard about Richie Spice before I even know he was related to Pliers and Spanabana. And when I heard him sing, I was like, yo, this guy is a star. He had no hits at that time. I love this performance, very controlled balance. He played an assortment of songs. And for people who don't know, Richie Spice had a lot of international big records. Yeah. The Plain Land, Brown Skin, some big records. So he did those records, and he also did the new record that actually sound good, even though but his performance at that, he thought, well, Ray that, down in jail, so yo,
yeah,
very good performance. Now, after I watched the Tanya Stevenson. Tanya Stevenson is a lyrical goddess in the business. There's no going around it. Other than probably when I talk about Tanya Stevens, the only other person we can compare her to is probably Lady Saw. She's like royalty in the music thing. Even though you might not agree with all of her, because she have some tune out there where like she take man money and them thing there, but her vivid imagery and the topics she chooses and storytelling, a lot of us can really connect to it.
Hold on.
She did have, yeah.
Yeah, so now you talk about Tanya Stevenson. We just didn't want to ask you a question about Tanya Stevenson.
Yeah,
because I want to know if I was the only one, but based off our content and how she performed and everything how she delivered, right? Even though it wasn't to me smooth from one thing to the other thing, like someone, she was just doing her thing. Right. She wasn't did any rush or anything. She just did her thing. I'm still just the body I work on lyrical content and how she did it. I'm like, damn, yo, even to this day, these are my personal feelings, but I want to know if you guys felt the same way. I still feel like in this new generation, not nobody, people have potential for rise to the level of Tanya Stevenson. But I still feel like, damn, yo, I don't think these new girls can mess with Tanya, yo.
You mean lyrically or performance?
Lyrically, both.
Yeah, our lyrics are on point. She was thinking when she wrote those records.
And the topic that she brought out in when that she performed were real topics too, bro. Like
real relationship topics, for real.
Right.
So
you felt the same way then?
I felt the same. Big performance. Like, it was good to see a female artist up there too that have that type of catalog and that can stand up there lyrically with anyone, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to see her on stage because we don't get to see her all the time as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she performs mostly in Europe or not, but we don't get to see her a lot on the local stage all the time. No, the Fireman we see a lot. What can I say? The Fireman at this age, energy is still there. And he gave us some of his old catalog. Like, he didn't even really do any new tune. No need. Capleton does not need to. But he went as far back as to give you songs from probably late 80s.
Yeah.
So it's been 30 years of music. And that's what some of the new people that need to learn. How can you stick around for this long? But Capleton, energy as usual. I mean, no elephant at the energy god, but Capleton bring a certain energy and fire to the stage where, man,
I'm a yo, no? I'm a yo, yeah, Aliba. Me not feel like, I know, elephant at the energy god no more. Elephant cannot keep up with Capleton at this stage. And an elephant younger than Capleton right now. Yo, look. What Capleton work out? Maybe him work out on stage or performance or in a studio. Look, when I check out Capleton, whether we here on the Sunsplash or in the studio, yo, look, this man put in a shift, bro. The man, look, I saw in some of the what you call it, some of the comments, right? It was live. I saw somebody say, yo, Capleton at the real energy god, yo. I don't know if it was pun intended or what, but yeah, it's funny. Real. It's funny that everybody was thinking that. Everybody was thinking this.
People comment, please, and let us know how you feel about Capleton, because we can't only be the only one saying this.
Real.
But I'm gonna jump into night 2 so that we can make Randy sum up feeling them too. Is how he felt about the show. Now, night 2, I'm not saying they were terrible or bad. They were good performances too. I just thought night 1 was better. I'll tell you my issues with night 2. So
hold on. You gotta make a talk about night 2. You bring up Tanya Stevenson. Yeah, well, our performance and everything was was potent and thing. Love everything about it. Warm to the people them where I go compare them now. Say, boy, the young girl them want 16. You see me? On a show like this
and that them want to see a sexy.
Them want to see a Shensi. Them want to see a Shensi and them want to see a how you call it a Jada Kingdom or whatever.
I mean, it would be nice to have one of those artists on the night too. You know, I thought that's what I was missing from night two because all the acts were male from night two. There's enough female that could have somebody on night two, but maybe the price they're asking, I don't know how much was the pay. I'm actually curious how that's going if they didn't pay tickets, right?
Right.
Were they selling tickets or was it just?
I think it was just what you call it now, sponsored stuff like that.
Yeah, sponsored. So okay, I guess then.
And the sponsors got advertisement and them advertise like
so the ads make some money.
The tourist board and Visa Jamaica and a whole bunch of other sponsors. You see me? Yeah, me a big them up and me a call some name, but yeah, we don't get paid from none of them people. So
makes sense.
Night two, Oliver.
Night two. So Romy and Virgo is, a class act. Always good performance from that young man. He sounds like his records. Like very clear.
People,
high notes. He hit some high notes.
People, that is key. You hear what I'm saying? Sound like his records. That is key.
He sound exactly like the records actually. And I like towards the end they had some questionnaires and he shared how he really wished he could have seen Gregory Isaac perform. Because that's somebody who he emulated.
Dennis Brown. I could have Dennis Brown.
Yeah.
In talk about both of them, boy. In talk about you never said Gregory Isaac as well? I felt like he said Gregory Isaac.
I believe so, but I remember
Dennis Brown.
I remember Dennis Brown.
Yeah,
but those are legendary artists, and they made Sunsplash. You can go on YouTube and pull up their old Sunsplash. Those are like iconic performances. D Brown and maybe I think one was Sunsplash 93 if I'm not mistaken. With there's one also when Gregory comes out to Borders. You know that song is like if I should cross the board, bad tune. Cause Gregory are one of my top artists still. I'm not gonna try to sing.
I'll show him age for him one day. Boy,
yo, man, I'm saying at 74. Anyway, so next was Sasko. Sasko, I don't know what was that the order. It was
Romy and Virgo then.
Yeah, it was Sasko, yeah.
So Sasko always deliver. He gave us a mixture of old and new. I've seen better performances from him. Not saying this was bad, but the one he did was he on Sumfest? Yes. The Sumfest performance he did for me was
I felt the same way.
I'm not sure if he held back or maybe the energy wasn't there because it was a different setup. I don't know. But he was good. I just felt like I've seen. So for me, Sasko sets the bar so high that every time it's almost like I'm unfair because I want him to be at 150. And it's also not fair to him. But I like the direction, I like the performance. Now, after him was Massacre. Massacre, I see improvements. And anybody who know me on this show know I'm a big Massacre fan. I love the records, but when he performs, he has a tendency to jump from record to record. And I think he has to work on that. And I know that's a dancehall formula, but you still need to know sometimes when to prolong a record. I think for the first couple minutes, he just kept doing one verse. If a verse.
Not even a verse.
Half a verse and jump to the next track. I think he's very confident, but I don't know if he's actually doing rehearsals. I don't know. But I think he was too cool for me. I wanted to really get into like he did. They Don't Know My Story. And I understand he's not a singer, but he didn't really sound like the records. Like at some points I was like, whoa.
I think and the reason why I pointed that out when you said it earlier that Romy and Virgo sound like him record, that that is a big deal because it keep you more engaged. It make you want to listen more, right?
Yes.
The difference.
Yes.
The difference.
And I think that, I mean,
some songs he was even off key.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know their full recording processes and stuff like that, but I think based on the circles that Romy and Virgo, came up as far as musically, around like Beres Hammond and people like that, I feel like his recordings are most likely live recording, like with live instruments.
Yeah.
So when he performs, it's almost like this is what it's like when he's recording.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Versus the other artists, the other like dancehall artists, where it's really a studio, different from an actual live performance kind of vibe. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what kind of makes a difference, and style of mixing and etc. And Romain is a real singer, so
yeah, I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, so to chip in on the fact that Oliver said Romain sound like him record. Massacre didn't sound the same way. To me that is a big deal, because if you ask me, I mean, no, Oliver never get to speak about Dexter Daps yet. But if you ask me, would I pay to go see Massacre based off the last few shows that I've seen? I've seen it. He's improving, right? But it take really long, and it seems like him have a bad habit of jumping from songs to songs. Like the main issue right here for me is that the artist have to be conscious and know him audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not if you don't know, you're not just even though it's a virtual stream, you're not just performing for local acts.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Know your audience. So how best to deliver a performance for on the worldwide stage? I credit Massacre because I'm one of the first dancehall artists. I'm probably the only one that I've seen on maybe like a morning show, like a news in the United States.
In New York,
right?
yes.
And because of that, I thought, well, you know what? Him get a really big push. I hope something become of this young man. He's very talented, very lyrical.
Well, bad for the album, and I mean the singles there.
Right.
The singles are tough.
But the problem again is, and we might sound like old people will always say this, are a broken record. When you're a performer, you sound like your records, it's very difficult to connect to you. So that would just be one point out. We can connect to Romy and Virgo.
I don't know if it's breath control or what, but
at one point,
observation.
At one point, and like I mentioned, I don't know if something was different about the mic on the second in comparison to the first night, because the first night, me not see no issue on at all. The mic sound.
Yeah, because Capleton sound like his records, and Capleton.
Everyone, even Rasai, the first you doing named Rasai, even though he only did 4 tracks, how he did his 4 tracks, how he went through each track, I was looking at it like, I mean, not Massacre, but me kind of did I feel like, damn, why Massacre? Why anybody just give me maybe a 4 song then and do it like
like pick 4.
That's how I
pick a few and really deliver those instead of trying to do all of your hot
well, tracks. He didn't do it, but you're right. He was jumping all over the place.
The next thing that I didn't like with Massacre, why I say you have to know your audience, a whole lot of expletives and stuff, and I'm like, this is it's been broadcast internationally. I never really like that. I tell you, me personally, I understand for them things happen, but if you notice, not many of the other acts cursed or did say that.
No, they did not.
They didn't, because even though Sasko doesn't have a lot of strong expletives, he still edited his performances with those, and as well as Dexter Daps, and Dexter Daps would have, I would say, have a lot more explicit songs, and he edited every part of it. You know what I mean? So that for me was because one came after the next, and I was like, okay, so Dexter Daps was like full uncensored. One thing and Dexter that and you know keep it clean and you know what I mean. So that stood out to me as well. But I felt like Massacre, based on my observation, he was out of breath a lot or gets out of breath easily, you know, compared to the other artists.
I felt that way too.
You know, so I don't know if it's not fitness. I don't know if it's a fitness issue or he's not rehearsing enough, or I don't know because I'm not around him to say. But that is where I would like to see some improvement.
I mean, we're not saying anything that people haven't said. I know the genocide them probably upset, and I feel like nowadays you can't make an opinion or constructive criticism. People get upset.
Yeah, because I'm a big Massacre fan.
Right now, Massacre one of my favorite, if not my favorite dancehall artists.
Yeah.
Period. I'm telling the truth. So, no, next up, I think he closed the show.
Yes.
He had a very good, long performance.
Long
performance. He had a lot of records. He has a lot of energy.
Yep.
And you could tell he's fit, right? But there were times I felt too like he didn't sound like some of his records.
I felt the same.
I don't know if that's just maybe auto-tuning on the records or what.
Hold on, Oliver. Key point again, that it kind of have me wondering if was there something up with the mic in comparison to the night before?
Well, I don't know.
Then
Virgo was on night 2.
Yeah, and it was good with Rummy and it was good with Sasko. Right. And it was, even though Jesse Royal performance was just okay, it was good with him as ready.
Yeah, he sounded like his record
as well.
And it was the one band right through, right?
Yes.
You're right.
And Jesse Royal too sounded like his records. I thought his performance was okay. I liked it, but the energy, I mean, I know his catalog extensively. I like Jesse Royal as an artist. I wanted him to do some more of the records that we know. I don't know. He seemed to be like he was doing some B records.
Yeah.
I think because he might not be on a level like, say, for example, like Cape Tanya, that you know all of his records. He should have done the big records or the bigger records that people know. But it was a good performance. I've seen him perform live before, and this is better than what I've seen before because I saw him maybe 3 years ago. So, you know, good performance all around. I'm glad Sunsplash is back. I don't know if Randy want to add anything else to it.
Yeah, so just to seal it up now. So I'm gonna tell you some of the things that I mean never like now. You know I call me negative Nancy, fine. But never sure. So enjoyed Romy and Virgo's performance. Sasko I think was just okay. Unlike Sasko of many other shows, like excellent. He was just okay. One thing that I didn't see was I wish that Romy and Virgo and Sasko performed a big tune together because not the same. Much like Massacre and Dexter that did perform their big combination or collaboration together, except that I didn't like, I don't know, something about, and I get why people nowadays are complaining that the young artists them not sound like them record, them not this, them not that, because and in all honesty, I'm gonna tell you the truth and I'm gonna say it here on the Reggaecy. If I had to pay for a show just to see Massacre perform and sound like that, more than want my money back. I tell you the honest truth. But artists, I'm rate him, I'm play him song them all the time on the radio and stuff. But the delivery was subpar to me. It was at times for me difficult to listen. And you know what? I don't feel like I bash the artist, but improvements are needed here. And we'd be doing ourselves an injustice if we didn't point this out that
I think he knows.
Yeah.
This is stuff that has been said.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens from here. If he's gonna improve. But yeah, Dexter Dapp, the reason why I give Dexter Dapp credit overall now too, as with his performance and everything, because it was a very long performance. Long performance.
And his energy was consistent.
Yeah,
Like,
and while to me he wasn't sounding exactly like his records and sometimes cut it short in here and there. One thing I can tell you that in work, in put in a shit, you could see he was soaked by the time he was done. You understand? And with all his big songs, how he delivered them from song to song, you have to give him credit for that. I definitely gave him credit for that. See me? It's just that again, it's just much to be desired when you listen to artists and them recorded and mastered material, and when you see them live in concert, they don't sound exactly the same or close, you know. To me, that kind of, for me, just leave a bad taste in the sense that I'm kind of understanding now, or not understanding, but it just bring me back to when I hear a lot of the elder statesmen say, so the young artists, them now do this and them now do that, and they need to perform and they need to do this and do that. You understand? So, yeah, that being said again, there was another question that we've asked previous, right? People don't mind Oliver and Shane, cause them might pay attention to something. But another question that we've asked previous is, who is gonna be the next Dennis Brown? Who is gonna be the next Alton Ellis? Who is gonna be the next, you know, whoever you want to call it, Bob Marley, whatever the case may be, even Bounty Killer, artists that are like Beanie Man, whatever, right? And one thing I can tell you for sure, who's gonna be the next Sanchez? You know, even though it might be a tough even though it might be a tough comparison to bring up those legends of the past, I can tell you that if from what I've seen with Romain Virgo tonight, if he continues to belt out music like this and perform the way that he does, right? Trust me, reggae music is in good hands with that dude. It's just up to people now to gravitate to him and follow him and listen to him, because really and truly, before this, I was just like, Romain, Christopher Martin, but you're in all honesty, Romain's performance tonight, not tonight, but overall at Reggae Sunsplash 2020, tops. Best, bar none. And we are talking comparison to everybody else that was on it. You had Cableton, Richie Spice, Tanya Stevenson, legends were always on 10. Agent Sasko, me even give Agent Sasko credit because him only did him perform for like maybe 15 minutes. It wasn't really a long set for him. Him never really have much time. You see me? So, but Romain Virgo hit the ball out the park, yo. You see me? You know, ever play cricket, hit the ball out the park, more than 6, you lost it, and that we are talking. You see me?
Strong performance.
Yeah, but yes, people, don't want to believe it and stretch it out, but otherwise, unless any of my colleagues have anything else to say, do you guys have anything else to add?
No. As far as, I mean, I know we keep asking who's going to be the next Dennis Brown and the next this and the next that. You know, but
is that not a fair question? Years? Is that not a fair question to ask? Is that not a fair question to ask?
I'm not sure if I'd say fair question. It's just a matter of perspective, I guess I'd say. Because at the same time, we want artists to be their own, you know, tread their own path, create their own image, create their own stamp in the ground, so to speak. But besides that,
yeah, I agree with you there, sir. But the issue that I'm having is you don't have to be exactly like him. So, for instance, again, let me explain. Romain Virgo, in my opinion, is not like any of those artists. Romeo and Virgo himself, right? Him the sound to me, him the sound like any of them. He's a different type of singer, right? He's not even, to me, he's not even a Sanchez. He's a different type of singer. But with all his material that he's sung over the years and performed, right? I can honestly connect with all of them, and he performed all of them. As a matter of fact, him sing the Love Doctor song, and from Sunsplash Night to now, it come like the Love Doctor song stuck in my head, can't get it out. I'm your love doctor, call me. Stuck in my head, stuck in my head. You see me? So when I say, who is the next Dennis Brown and next Bob Marley? We don't mean exactly like, who's the next person that's gonna carry the torch as a singer there, right? Who's the next person that's gonna carry the torch as a DJ like Bunty and Beanie then, or Capleton, right? Who's the next person, right? Because like I said, you know me, I normally not the young artists them, because I feel like they have to do them one thing, Shane, right? And I think that's what you were probably gonna allude to, that they have to do them one thing and be them one people, right?
Yeah, that's true. And then how much time like you put on, that kind of observation. You get what I'm saying? Because 20 years ago, or even more, we probably wouldn't know that, okay, such and such artist is going to be this iconic, legendary act 20 years from now, you know what I mean? So True. It's like, it's just something we have to probably grow along with them.
Yeah, great point.
And see how that works.
Great point. Great point, because no one knows when an artist first start if them ever, be this great person.
If them ever
for instance, again, and not to knock an artist, not to knock certain artists, like the artist that people thought Cesar Kalandri was gonna continue to be is not the artist that he is now. The artist that people thought Jacure was gonna continue to be is not the artist that he is now, right? But for instance, again, like a Dennis Brown.
I think there was some time, I'm nothing against the legends, but sometime the fact that they died protected their legacy.
That's true.
And they died at a certain, because Dennis Brown was what, 41, 42? Bob Marley was 36. Not saying they were great before they died.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it adds a certain other layer of mystique to the artist.
True that.
Gotta immortalize.
Imagine if Jacure died after he did.
Me not imagine that. If you know how we should that, but I understand. I understand.
I'm for hypothetical purposes.
Yeah.
Imagine if that had happened.
Yeah,
after the big records that he came out of jail.
It's true.
Would have been a legend.
That's true. True. But look on it in this sense though. You know why Dennis Brown, what you say, 40 yard? Right?
He was 42.
So listen to this, Oliver. The difference with Dennis Brown now, right? Dennis Brown, I performed for him a local youth.
Right.
From him a kid.
Right. So, no, I'm not using Dennis Brown as saying Dennis,
So we are talking over 30 odd years of being in the business and being consistent and sounding good. Being even crowned the crown prince of reggae. You understand? So I mean, I know that it's difficult for people to live up to, right? But I'm just saying, who's gonna carry the baton? Who's gonna carry the flag? You understand? You don't necessarily have to be exactly like. I'm not saying that, because we can't expect, say, to me, the best current dancehall act to date right now, right, is Dexter. It never sound exactly like what I wanted to hear on Sunsplash this year, right? The revamping of Sunsplash, the rebirth of Sunsplash. But I can tell you from everything that he did, the performance was impeccable. The time he spent on stage, everything, and how he arranged his music, Well done. Me can't knock him, period. Even though to me, him just never sound like him record. But me can't knock him. The point that I make, like, again, how many of the current younger crop of artists can even do like what a Dexter Dapp did? How many? You tell me. Name another one now, please. Please, wait. Name another one. It felt like dude performed for 2 hours to me, bro.
I think TJ could do it.
TJ?
I think TJ could perform for a long time.
I would have to see that for myself, bro. I would have to see it for myself.
I think so.
You see me? But, dude.
If you mean by, are you talking about catalog?
I'm talking about
Popcorn could I do it?
Not talk about just performance.
And
of course,
as far as keeping the energy up and delivering.
Of course, you have to have the catalog to spend that much time, right?
Right.
You have to. But to do what he did for that long and keep people engaged, because at no point during that, even though like me say him never sound like what I would have wanted, would have prefer him sound like, I wasn't disengaged.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure his number one fans, in real true diehard fans, which are the ladies.
I think it takes time. Yeah, it's been around for what, 7, 8 years?
It's come down to mastery.
8 years probably. These are like young people, maybe 3 years. I don't think 3 years in Dexter Dapp could have done this either.
I think you give them a whole heap a rope for it, because Massacre been out. 3 years now. Massacre been out.
No, maybe it's not. I'm not saying maybe it's not Massacre. But I'm saying there are other artists that I look, nothing against Dexter Dapp, but I don't think Dexter Dapp in 2016 or 2015 is Dexter Dapp right now. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think it takes time for artists to grow. Not say, I don't know if we have it or not. It's hard for me to say personally. Because if you asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have probably said, no, Dexter Dapp ain't closing no Sunsplash. You know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of who's out there right now. No one has really been that consistent. So that's the problem. That's new.
Hold on, Oliver. I think Shabba Mother Potter maybe about 3 years old, you know. Dexter Dapp, you know.
I think older than that.
No, man, older than that.
Probably 5 years.
All right. Right. So if for 5 years, that's 2015, and he had songs from before that. Right?
I don't think at that time, 2015, I think the catalog where Dexter Dapp has been putting out an album almost every year for the last 3 years.
Dexter Dapp catalog before Shabba Mother Pot.
Was one album.
The young ladies going crazy, bro. And I'm not speaking from the place of like I'm a Dexter Dapp super fan. I'm just telling you that Dexter Dapp star. You dig?
No, I'm not saying he's not a star. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm saying for the newer artists, we need to give them some time. That's all I'm saying. Maybe, you know, I just can't see the entire dancehall not being able to find somebody who can close a show. You know, a few years ago it was I-Octane, right? I think we can all agree I-Octane is not firing like I-Octane from 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Right? Not against I-Octane, but every artist have them time. Mm-hmm. Who is it gonna be next? I don't think we know. The artists are gonna just show up.
Sure.
You know? Is it Movado? I don't know.
So hold on. Right? I'm glad they bring up I-Octane. I know we are believe about the topic and we are stretch it out. So I-Octane in performance not gone nowhere. Him just now get the hits. So right now,
can still perform.
Right now, I guarantee you, if I-Octane get at least 2 hits right now, him can close a show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If him get at least 2 solid hits, him can close a show.
Yeah, I agree.
You dig? So that is my issue. My issue is, all right then. Who's the next eye actor? You see me? Even though I'm kinda have issues right now, I can't find it in our words. Right? But
I mean the artists them nowadays different. So I don't even know if they can
the comparison kinda difficult.
I'm hoping Reggae King continues to grow. I think there's talent there. Maybe not enough material, but we'll see. I think he has potential. Who else that you can see maybe come out?
TJ is on his way though.
But who else? Shensia.
I'm Shensia. Yeah, I can
Ding
see
Dong.
growing.
Actually, Ding Dong.
Closing a show.
I think Ding Dong can close a show. He has a lot of hits right now.
I went to On the Reggae Tip and last year, and Ding Dong. I don't remember if it was Ding Dong that closed the show, but it was a good performance, right? But I mean, it depends on what level of artist. I'm not try to put down Ding Dong, bad artist.
Governor.
Governor
is another one that I could see closing a show.
So
I think the artists are there if we look.
You actually have to see them work still, you know. You get me?
Eventually.
So the thing is, all right. You see how Coffee work on stage? Of course. Me give her credit. Me give her a whole heap of credit. You dig? But how some of these artists, some of these acts work on stage leaves much to be desired. That's why I keep saying that you have to know your audience. You know, you have to you have to prepare, you have to have some longevity. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But like I said, I don't really want to stretch this out. That was Reggae Sunsplash 2020. People, what are your views? How do you feel about this? Just let us know. Share.